All right, everybody knows that usually I am trying to work on fellow followers of Yeshua to show them that you should be doing following the law, which Yeshua says over and over again, and that you should be doing works, which he does over and over again. And if you love someone, you usually do works for them because you want to. And, in James it says, faith without works is death. Now, that's a different video. I'm not really getting there. I'm just pointing out to you guys, I usually stay within, Elohim's community. I don't usually take on outsiders. It's just not where I'm at or what the Spirit's on me to do yet. But recently I've been seeing some shorts on social media of, different people from other different religions saying that Yeshua never technically says he's the Messiah or he and the Father. Let me just stop right there before I finish that. That's blatantly false. He says it multiple times. But, in our daily reading, we're John 10 right here. So let's just go straight to John 10:30 in the Scriptures, which is the Institute for Scriptural Research, the Scripture. Now, the context is he's talking to the Yehudim, the Jews, the Israelites, who are questioning him, and they're trying to seize him at this point whenever they can and throw stones at him. And he keeps telling them that his sheep hear his word and know him and follow him, and they don't hear his word or believe him or know him because they're not his sheep, and they are not trying to hear that. So if finally they're like where they said blah 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 blah. Where is he? Oh, yeah. Okay, so John 10:24. So the Yehudim, the Israelites, the Jews, surrounded him and said to him, how long do you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, say it to us plainly. And he's like, I have told you, I've shown you the works and blah, blah, blah. But let's just go right here to 30. I and my Father are one. Hear, O Israel. I'm brain farting.
Yahweh is one.
Yeah, I can't believe we say that like 20 times a day, and I'm brain farting. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is one. The Spirit, the Father, and Yeshua are one. So that's what he's saying right here. I can't believe I brain farted that. We just got done saying it too. So there's no question, and I'm sure there's some people even that that churchianity / Paulianity. I'm sure some churches are like, well, technically you never said right there. He says it in other places too, but right there, 30. Oh, and works, showing you works. The word works appears like 8 times in these. I'm sorry, John, for my money, is the best gospel. It's just a banger. It's just banger after banger of truth and explaining things. It's just a banger. Matthew is excellent too. It's very detailed.
Yeah, that's probably my second favorite.
But John just covers so many topics and lays them out plainly. It says, this is what's up, the end. What I'm going to get to tomorrow is a very interesting one. Now, yesterday, Yeshua says, I came not to judge the world. But then today, he says, I have come to judge. Let's see. Where is it? Did we do 9 today? We did 9. Yeah.
9 and 10.
I'm trying to remember where it was so I can show people. We give a little preview. Yahweh says, John, I know I'm getting away from the main point of this video, but John 9:39. Yeshua said, for judgment I have come into this world, that those not seeing might see, and those seeing. This is right after he healed the guy who was blind from birth. And the Pharisees thought that the kid was lying and was trying to figure out, and interviewed his parents and kept interviewing the kid. And he's like, look, guy made me see. What do you want from me? Now, in John chapter 8, he said, I've come not to judge the world. Well, so what does that mean? Well, we're going to do a video on that. But There's people out there, a lot of churchianity folks who say, well, he says he doesn't come to judgment or shit. Wrong. But he does say also he doesn't. So what is it? Well, what do I keep banging on every video almost with you guys? Context. What's the context? What's he saying in context to the specific instance that the Bible is describing in relation to the Gospels, in relation to the Old Testament, in relation to how his main message is? That's why you have to read this for yourself. You have to. You can't rely on someone who's at 1 hour a week, not enough time, not enough context, not enough reading. You can't. You have to read the Old Testament. You have to. Understand this. Understand this. In the New Testament, all throughout the New Testament, where it says, when Paul was traveling and they were checking Paul by reading scripture. They were checking what he was saying against scripture. When the Pharisees were talking about scripture, whenever this book is talking about scripture and reproving with scripture, guess what? Remember, there was no New Testament back then. They were talking about the Old Testament. That's how you check to know Yeshua is telling the truth. The Old Testament. Why do you think most churches will just cherry pick, go into a little bit, but don't like make it known that it's mandatory reading and that you should know it inside and out? And why? For many reasons. But the one I just told you, and because it shows you what happens when we don't follow his law. That's all it is. So it's a series of stories that show what happened to his people when they don't follow his law. Just like now, when the church and all these people are trying to say, we don't have to follow his law. Well, is it any surprise that our country is going down the tubes faster and faster in the shape we're all in? It's not a coincidence, everybody. Right here, it happens time and time again in this part of the book. If you don't want to keep repeating it, go to this part of the book and read it. And tell everybody you know. And stop going to the churches that say we don't have to follow the law and say all that. Like, I'm begging you, please read for yourself.